Hello, welcome to Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. So last week I was at the National AILA conference, which is the American Immigration Lawyers Association. It happened to be in New York, and it was their 75th year. And they actually started in New York 75 years ago with, probably 10 people, and now there's something like 12,000 members, and there's about 3,500, give or take, that go to these yearly conferences. Anyways, I met a very nice attorney from Nicaragua, and he gave me his card, and I misplaced it, sorry. So, I'd like to give my thoughts on a few items about immigrating from Central America. And that would be Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and so forth. So, there's all kinds of ways of immigrating. And what people think of first when looking at the Central American countries is asylum. That's the first thing they think of. And asylum is not an easy path to take. First of all, you have to get inside the United States, then you apply for asylum. Otherwise, you have to get refuge in a third country, and then you can apply as a refugee. And all of these processes take a very long time. So I'd like to concentrate on seeing what types of relief and what types of business type immigration can move forward from those types of countries in Central America. Now, first things first, if one has a college degree, okay, and they can get a job offer in the United States relating to the college degree. So, for example, if you have an engineering degree, you're not going to get a job as an accountant, okay? So if it's related and if it has to use the degree, you obviously can't get a job as a secretary with an engineering degree and then go on a business visa. So the type of visa that would be available in that case could be an H-1B, okay? Now, an H-1B is only valid for a certain period, meaning that they only issue so many per year. There's a ton more that actually get submitted. And so at least as of right now, you don't have to prepare the whole H-1B and then get rejected. When the filing date comes along, at least now you can send in to see if you get picked. And then if you get picked, then you can prepare the rest of the H-1B. So that's one. If you have a lot of years of experience doing whatever you do, and of course you can't get in on the H-1B, there is the possibility of an O-1. An O-1 might be a very good possibility for you. There's different burdens of proof depending if the O-1 is for athletics or for business or for science. But don't let the name extraordinary alien petition scare you off. There's people who do research on an O-1 on their own, and the next thing you know, they're running for the hills. So you don't have to do that. O-1 is doable. So that's that. There are, of course, lots of other visas that are temporary. If any of the Central American countries have treaties with the U.S. and the person there has the ability to invest in the U.S. in a business, either buy one in operation or start one new with about 50,000, 75,000 U.S., then they can come on an E2. So that's a possibility. And then if they have their own business, okay, and there's no restriction on country here, if you have anyone, again, in Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, wherever, if they have their own business and can verify it and have been there for at least a year, they can open a branch office in the U.S. and come on an L1. Now, an L1 does require that both businesses be open at the same time. But the nice thing, and actually this would work for E2 as well, but the L1, you can come here to the U.S., run your own business, and keep the one in your home country running, And then after a year, 2 years, give or take, you can then apply for the EB-1C Multinational Manager visa for the green card. It's actually one of the nicest business ways to get a green card. There's no $1 million investment, or now it's $1.8 million. There's no need to have a conditional green card and file a whole other petition 2 years later to make sure you've met all the requirements. The EB-1C is a fantastic petition to get the green card. And if you are an entrepreneur, or anyone in any of these Central American countries are entrepreneurs, then if they do it right, they come on the non-immigrant, L1, and then they later apply for the EB-1C. So that is certainly a possibility. Now, let's say that you either don't qualify for the non-immigrant visas or the investment visas, but yet you still want the green card. Well, if you can get an employer that will petition you for something which you've done for a couple years, then there's the normal Perm process. It goes Perm, and then after that, it's what's known as the I-140, and then consulate processing, and you can bring in your family, your spouse and unmarried children under 21. Now, this process does take time. Normally, for an employment-based petition for the green card, third preference. That's where, again, you either have a couple years experience or a bachelor's degree or a combination. For everything to process, if it's going smooth, you're looking at 2 or 3 years. Now, keep in mind, that's a lot less than a lot of other types of petitions. If you're doing a family petition, let's say a sibling petition from the Philippines, that's going to take 20, 25 years. So 2 to 3 years for the whole process, if it's all done properly, is not that bad. So, in that regard, again, if you can get an employer that's willing to petition you, that would be the way. Now, there's a couple things with this. The employer has to remain in business, obviously, and the employer has to have the ability to pay. Now, that is a legal immigration term, meaning that their bottom line needs to show that they have sufficient funds to pay the person coming in from the time the petition was filed all the way until they're sitting at their desk with the green card. Okay? So if the company in the U.S. is really small, or they have a creative accountant and they never make a profit, well, then they're not going to be the best company for you to petition you. You don't want to go through the whole process and be almost at the front gate when, in fact, it would be denied for an ability to pay issue. Okay? All the more reason to have a good immigration attorney do the stuff so that they can look down the line and see this might be an issue and tell you right up front you need to find someone else. So that's one way. A strange kind of visa is called the Q visa, and that is a cultural visa. So if any of these places, for example, the people that want to come and teach how to do the native kind of dancing or cooking or things like that, they can come on a Q visa. That's a fairly interesting visa. Now, as far as business goes, it's always possible to help other people in your country if you come on a business visa and then you petition other people from your country to be able to come as well based on the company that you've set up. Okay, and then of course there's RNs, if they want to pass the CGFNS and come work as a registered nurse. I've only listed a few, but there's a lot more. So there's a lot of business opportunities for Central America. It's not just asylum. Hopefully I've shown that. And it's just a matter of knowing where to go, what to do, and to have the, education, work experience, and so forth. But each case is different, and there are certainly possibilities for each particular case. There's no one set for everybody, but that's how it goes. Okay, so if you enjoyed, click like, subscribe, and hello to my friend that I met from Nicaragua. It's good talking to you.